Welcome. Today we're going to talk about medians. The important part about a median is it goes from the midpoint of the segment of a triangle to the opposite vertex. So right now if I want to draw a median going across my triangle in this direction, it would go from this vertex to the midpoint of this side. Since we've drawn on patty paper our triangle, it's real easy to find the midpoint. I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to match up my two vertices on the side that I'm trying to find the midpoint. I'm going to go ahead and crease my paper right there. Notice I'm not worried at all about the vertex I'll go through, only that I folded that side in half because now I have created a midpoint. Right there on the crease of your paper you can put a point. The way that I show that is a midpoint is I'm going to go mark my two segments as congruent. And then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go from the vertex to the midpoint. I'm going to draw a line right there. That would be considered a median. Again, one more time for you on an acute triangle right here. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to turn my paper. This time I'm going to take the median of this side through that vertice. So I'm going to take my two vertices down here, fold them over in half. I want to put my two vertices on top of each other. And by putting my vertices on top of each other, that lines that edge up. I'm going to crease my paper right there, and that should give me the midpoint of that side. Again, I can mark it congruent on both sides of that midpoint to show that it's a midpoint. And then I'm going to connect the midpoint to the opposite vertex. I could also do that for my third side here. Take and fold over one more time. Vertex to vertex. Crease it. Notice that my line lays on top of itself. I've cut it in half because I've folded the paper in half. Advantage of patty paper, we can see through it, so we know that we're getting a good fold. There's my midpoint. Go ahead and mark that side as congruent. And then to create the median, I'm going to go from the opposite vertex through the midpoint. Notice I have three medians on every triangle because I have three sides of a triangle. Real quick note, nothing changes if I go with an obtuse triangle. I'm just going to go ahead and do one for you here. Fold vertex to vertex, crease it. That will give me my midpoint. And then you take that midpoint and you go from midpoint to vertex. And there should be no change in how this works. So that you can see it in case you've drawn yourself an obtuse triangle. I'm going to go ahead and crease it. Find my midpoint. Once I found my midpoint, I'm going to line up my midpoint and my opposite vertice, and I'm going to connect them. Last time, I'm going to fold vertex to vertex to get my midpoint. Mark those two pieces congruent, and then go from vertex to midpoint. And again, this is our median, and it's as simple as finding the midpoint of a side and connecting the midpoint to the opposite vertice. Have a good rest of your day.